The mansion pulsed with energy golden chandeliers, velvet drapes, laughter spilling like champagne. It was the kind of party where everyone pretended not to stare, not to judge, not to whisper behind crystal glasses. But they did. They always did. Lena Reyes had never felt more out of place. Her friend had dragged her here just for an hour, just to see the art, just to breathe a little luxury. Lena had agreed, mostly because she was tired of saying no to life. After years of playing everything safe, she wanted just for once to step into a world that didn't belong to her. She wore a simple black satin dress, soft, elegant, not expensive, not flashy, something she felt comfortable in, at first. But the moment she entered the ballroom, she felt the weight of eyes on her. Women in glittering gowns looked her up and down. Men barely gave her a glance, except the ones who stared too boldly. The kind who smelled of entitlement and old wealth. Still, Lena tried to breathe through it, reminding herself she had every right to be here. She wandered toward the balcony, seeking fresh air, pressing one hand lightly to her dress. Where the strap had loosened earlier, she'd tied it back with a small knot, a temporary fix. Unfortunately, temporary things never lasted. Her friend disappeared into the crowd, and Lena stepped into the quiet hallway outside the main ballroom. Soft classical music drifted from the string quartet inside. Voices brightened and faded like flickering flames. She leaned against the wall, relieved for the momentary solitude. Then someone brushed past her, a guest rushing by, too close, too careless. His sleeve caught her dress strap. The knot slipped, the satin slid. Lena gasped, hands flying to her chest. As the dress dipped dangerously low, too low, she pressed it back into place, heart flying into her throat. No, 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 please. Her fingers fumbled, shaking as she tried to retie the knot. The hallway was too quiet, too exposed. Panic crept up her spine. Then she felt it. A presence. Someone was watching her. Not from the hallway. From deeper in the shadows where the light from the ballroom didn't reach. Lena's breath froze. She didn't see him at first, just the silhouette. Tall, still, unmoving. The kind of stillness that wasn't accidental, but intentional. Her pulse hammered. "I'm sorry," she whispered, not knowing why she apologized. "My dress, I didn't mean for—" The man didn't step forward. He didn't speak, but she could feel his attention like a hand against her skin. Heavy, focused, unnervingly quiet. For some reason, that scared her more than if he'd said something inappropriate. "Please don't," she swallowed. "Don't look." A beat of silence, then a voice low, controlled, impossibly calm, cut through the dim hallway. "You should let me help." Her fingers froze on the strap. His voice wasn't mocking, or amused, or predatory. It was steady, level, as if he were asking permission to hand her a glass of water, not offering to help her with something as intimate as a slipping dress. Lena cleared her throat. I can fix it, it's fine." "It isn't," he said softly. "You're trembling." Her breath stilled. How close was he? Close enough to notice the shake in her hands? She took a small step back, bumping into the wall. The shadow shifted. Only then did he step into view. He wasn't what she expected. Not a drunk partygoer. Not a smirking socialite. He was different. A tailored black suit, broad shoulders, sharp jaw. Eyes like stormlight, dark but striking. He carried himself with the quiet composure of a man who didn't need to announce his presence. He simply existed, and the world noticed. Lena's breath faltered. He held up one hand, palm open, gentle, non-threatening. I won't touch you if you don't want me to. His voice was so steady, it unraveled her panic a little. I just didn't want you to struggle alone. She pressed her lips together. I'm not used to people noticing. His gaze softened almost imperceptibly. I noticed. Her stomach tightened. I'm not sure if that makes this better or worse. A faint hint of a smile touched his mouth. You can tell me to turn around. I will. Lena hesitated. Her fingers slipped again. The dress threatened to fall. She clenched it against her chest, breathing hard. He waited, patiently, respectfully. She finally whispered, Could you, please, stand closer to the doorway? Just block the view? He nodded once, immediate, effortless obedience. He stepped past her but did not look at her, turning toward the hallway instead, becoming a wall between her and the world. Only then did she breathe again. Thank you, she murmured as she retied the knot, hands steadier now. You're safe, he replied quietly. I've got you. Those words shouldn't have affected her, not from a stranger, but they did. They sank into her ribs, warm and grounding. When she was done, she whispered, Okay, you can look. He turned, and for a moment, he didn't move. His eyes swept over her gently, not with hunger, but with an awareness that felt intimate, protective. You handled that better than most would have, he said softly. I handled it terribly. No, he corrected. You handled it alone. That's strength. Why were you watching? She asked before she could stop herself. His jaw tightened, not with guilt, but with honesty. Because you walked into the party, and the entire room got louder. She frowned. That makes no sense. It does, he murmured. When someone real steps into a place full of masks, everything shifts. Her heart stumbled. What's your name? She asked. He stepped closer, just enough for her to feel the warmth radiating from him. Callum. She repeated it softly. Callum. His eyes darkened slightly, as if hearing her say it affected him. And you? He asked. Lena. He exhaled slowly, as though he'd been waiting for that. Lena, he echoed. I won't forget that. Lena wasn't sure what startled her more, how close Callum stood, or how careful he was with the space between them. He could have stepped closer. He could have reached for her. He could have taken advantage of her flustered state, like many men at this party would have done. But he didn't. He waited. As long as you're all right, Callum said softly, I'll leave you to enjoy the evening. The words hit her strangely, like she didn't want him to leave. Like his presence had steadied something inside her she didn't even realize was shaking. Wait, she blurted before she could stop herself. Callum paused, turning back toward her, that calm intensity resting in his gaze. She swallowed. You didn't have to help me. You're right, he said, voice low. I didn't. His eyes traced her face gently. But I wanted to. Her breath hitched. He stepped closer, not touching, but close enough that she felt the soft brush of his breath. Most people look through others at these events. You looked like someone worth seeing. Lena felt warmth flood her cheeks. You don't even know me. Oh, I know enough. His tone deepened slightly. A woman who panics but doesn't crumble, who gets embarrassed but still stands tall, who asks for help even when she hates needing it. A faint smile curved his lips. That tells me more than a name ever could. Her pulse fluttered. Callum, why were you in the shadows? You looked like you were avoiding everyone. I was, he admitted. I don't like crowds or attention. She blinked. but people must pay attention to you." He exhaled quietly, as if the truth weighed more than she realized, more than I'd like. For a moment, they simply breathed in the quiet hallway, the noise of the party drifting behind them like a distant echo. Then he asked softly, "Will you come back inside with me?" Her instinct screamed to say no. She didn't belong in that ballroom. She didn't have the clothes, the pedigree, the shine. But Callum held out his hand, not to force her, but to invite her. A gesture full of patience and sincerity, and something warm she didn't recognize. Lena hesitated before slipping her hand into his. He drew in a slow breath, as if the simple touch meant something. "If anyone stares at you again," he murmured, "they'll have to look past me." Her chest tightened. "Why?" Callum stepped half an inch closer. "Because I saw what almost happened out here." His eyes darkened, serious and protective. "And I realized I don't want anything else to happen to you, not tonight." She felt her knees weaken. "You barely know me," she whispered. "I know enough," he repeated gently, "and I'm not walking away." The doors to the ballroom swung open as they stepped inside, but this time Lena didn't feel small or out of place. Not with Callum beside her, not with the way he subtly shifted closer, his hand still holding hers like he had no intention of letting go. And when the crowd turned to look because they did, Callum leaned in just slightly, his voice warm at her ear. "Let them stare," he murmured. "I saw you first.